Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jewel. I have a back to basics video today, and it's all about papers, pages, and different things that you can sew into your journal. So you can see I have a ton on my desk. I have a ton next to me. So there are some things that you guys probably would know to put in journals, and then there's probably some things that you hadn't thought about. So here we go. I'm going to have a seat and I'm going to talk to you about different types of paper and papers and pages and everything you can sew into a journal. Okay, let's start with, I got so much stuff here. Let's just start with the basics. Okay, I have, where are my digis? Okay, you know, everybody knows about digitals. So I just pulled out one. Here's another one. You know, these are basic. You can find digitals at Etsy. I thought I had a couple more up here. I don't. Yes, I do. But I want to show you. Let me show you a couple things. All right, see how nice and clear this digital is? So I'm going to show you what I print my digitals on in case you are new to my channel. So you get, as opposed to plain copy paper, where you get these better images, more clear and concise. Now, this one I had printed on plain coffee. And I wish I had another one where you could see the difference, but you can see it's kind of dull and the colors are not as vivid. So here's a couple of the types of papers I use. This is 32 pounds. I think this is similar. So this is the Epson, and it's called Presentation Matte Paper. And I'm not 100% sure if this one is double-sided. I believe the Epson is. HP makes one. I love the Koala. And this one is double-sided matte photo paper. So no matter which way, they're not all double-sided, so you kind of have to look at them and see which side has the matte photo paper. So this one's actually called photo paper. This one's called presentation paper. They're both very similar. The photo paper, I think, is probably a little better. This is a little heavier, but it's still a lightweight paper. So you can get that in different weights. Let me put those aside. And where you can get a cardstock base. Right now, my printer's not happy with me. I've got to clean the rollers so it's not taking the thicker paper. It does take watercolor paper, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So it does take that. Now, moving on with papers to print on before we get into all these other papers. I wanted to show you, I printed this on... is this on here? Yes, actually it's on the wrong side. I printed on this thin watercolor paper, but these are also, you can print on them, or you can also just put them in your journals for, you know, people to do watercolor on, or also it's fun to just create on these with inks and markers and whatnot, because it's a different texture. This is a nice lightweight one. So I go to Amazon and I just pick up the cheapest to put in the book. If I were going to be a watercolor artist, I would get the better ones. So, but I'm not. So, okay, with that, also... let me show you a couple of other types of papers. So if you're going to be putting paper to do mixed media on in your journals, you can add some sketch paper, okay? Or also a Bristol smooth surface. And this is a little thicker paper, and this is good if you're going to make an art journal. These are great, but they're also fun to put in your regular journals, so you have a variety of different papers to create on. So let me put those aside. Okay, moving on with papers. We have, I'm going to pull from over here. I have, okay, the dot grid paper is, This is an acid-free paper, and you find these a lot in bullet journals. And you can also coffee stain these if you're doing a vintage style journal. So it has a nice texture for journaling on. So that is called, this is an unpunched refill. And it's acid-free, which is great. So your journals, you put pictures in there and whatnot, it'll last for years and years and years. So that's called a dot grid paper. Also, here is just a graph paper, which is a nice thin paper, but it also can be coffee stained like it is here. So that's fun to add different just journaling space papers. Now, when you coffee stain your paper, I do not take my photo paper and coffee stain it. I buy a fairly good quality just regular copy paper to do it. And you can see here's 2 pieces of that. So everybody knows about coffee stain. Also, when you're doing that, you can spray your inks on it. You can do an avocado stain paper. So all the stain papers work well. So if you, I have not done any videos on different ways to stain papers and whatnot, but they're on the, you can find them somewhere. Just Google it or go to YouTube and you'll have 1,000 choices. Okay, this is a just a folded glossy paper, and these are fun to print on as well. And so you could use something like that. It's a little thicker and it's got a gloss if you like that. Okay, now I'm going to continue with papers. This is a Parchment paper. It's called Parchment, and I call it a Parchment writing paper because I'm going to show you regular Parchment paper in the middle. So this is always nice because it gives a little bit of a vintage flair to your journals. These can be coffee stained as well. I think it kind of defeats the purpose because it already looks aged. But also these come in different colors. This is just, I think, a ivory color. So they do come in different colors. So there's that. And then we have resume paper. Now, you can print on this, but I like it just because it has a really nice feel to it. And you can see, you can actually see the stamp in there. So you know this is a good resume paper. So it has a really good feel too. So it just adds variety to your journals. We also have our cotton paper or linen paper. So this resume paper is a cotton paper. That's 24 pounds. This is a linen paper, and this again comes in different colors, and this is a white linen, and I don't know if you can see the texture. It has such a beautiful texture. Can you see that? You can see it looks like a piece of linen. So that I like as well. I'm getting low on that. And I like to print French documents on this linen paper. And actually I want to get the parchment or the ivory color of this, and so it would look even more authentic if you're doing a facsimile of a document. Okay, still working with papers, children's manuscript paper. You can find this at the dollar store. That's always fun in there, especially if you're doing like little golden book journals or things like that. And we're going to talk about children's journals in a minute. Also, if you just have, we're going to get to book pages and things like that after. If you just have some colored paper, that's also nice. I just pulled out this pretty color here. So you can just add in some sheets of cardstock color paper into your journals. Now, let me go with the cardstock here. Okay, now here's 2 pieces of pretty cardstock right here. Now, when I'm doing cardstock in my journals, I like to use them when I'm making pockets and journal and signature covers. So let's say you have 4 or 3 signatures. Before you add your papers in, this could be the cover of the signature, and then you can, you can fold this up and make a pocket, because these are 12 by 12. You can get cardstock in all different sizes. Here's an 8 by 8. Okay, so you can see that. So if you're making a traveler size notebook or a mini or a journal or a mini journal, you can get this size. So those are options as well. But the beautiful digitals, you're seeing maybe a little less of the cardstock today, but I still love it. And my favorite brands. I have a few favorite brands. I love Stamperia. I love Graphics 45. I love, I don't know. This bird, Blue Fern Studios has a lot of beautiful papers. Bo Bunny. There's a bunch. Anyways, okay, now let's get into, I've got more papers here. Okay, we know vintage papers, vintage ledger, vintage music. Oh, I wanted to show you this. This is a digital that I printed on a heavier weight photo paper. But right now my printer's not taking the heavier weight, so you can do that as well. So let me put that aside. Okay. Onion skin. This is onion skin paper. It's a vintage that I picked up through Etsy. So this is from an old steel construction company, and I do add those in books a lot. Let me see. I have not listed these yet or done a flip through, but I wanted to show you. I think I have that in here somewhere. I don't know. Okay, here's a page. This ledger paper pages are great, and then you can get the vintage ledger. Oh, I forgot to pull out my handmade paper. Handmade paper looks great in your journals. So let me just pull a sheet out so you can see this, because it's nice, and you can write on it as well. So here's a piece of that. See that? Isn't that fun? So that's fun for your journals. This I got from my friend Debbie, and this you can see she had found this probably at a estate sale or something, thrift store. This had been check writing, or check printing. Can you see that? That checks come on. So I've used a bunch of these. So it's just a fun green. Anything that you can find at the thrift store that's paper that you want to add. These are called junk journals, so you can do that. Now on Amazon, I know I'm moving right along. They do have, there goes my chair. They do have a variety of, if you put in antique style paper, they do have some fun, different antique style papers. You can see these are all, see, this almost looks like a scroll, a paper. This would be fun actually to make like a little scroll on your page. So here's some papers like that, and I love to add these in journals as well because I like the rich colors. So those are just a few from my stash that I pulled out. Now, when I'm using my vintage papers and pages, and I have a variety of those here, so we're just going to go through that real quick. Vintage children's book magazine. This is from a magazine. These are fun for your children's journals, or even just to put in a journal. They're cute, they're fun, baby journals, whatnot. These are antique magazine. Okay, so that, or vintage magazines. I have a big stack over there from different old, and I picked these up on eBay. Antique, or these are old Sears Roebuck pages, and I think I found these on Etsy. And then, so there's the magazines, and then here's some more magazines. This is fun. I wouldn't put that in a journal, but these fun little illustrations. This would be fun for a children's book.
This is Boy Scouts. So, and then book pages, old book pages. These are old book pages. So, and I like some of the illustrations in the old books, you know. So you got to really kind of look out, make sure, you know, the older books aren't going to have the offensive, usually the offensive, right, you know, words and stuff in it. So, you know, kind of look over it, or if you're going to, or gesso over them before you sew them in your journals. Now, I like to use tracing paper, I started to say, on each side of, or on one side of my antique or vintage papers, and it's also fun to write on, and plus it gives a sound and a texture. So, on each side of my antique paper. So I just bought this cheap Crayola tracing paper, 150 sheets. It was very inexpensive. Got that at Amazon. What we have, more scrapbook paper here that I went into and just added these notches in. So those are fun. You can throw those in. This is a old Betty and Veronica cartoon from Cartoon. Those are fun. You can use those in your journals. Whoops, I dropped something. Now, I also like to use, this is real parchment, and these are called unbleached non-stick parchment baking sheets. I've made envelopes out of these, and I like to use them in my more vintage style journals. And I just will fold them and sew them right in. And they also work on each side of your antique. Hold on, I gotta pick these up. I've got antique or book pages here. Around your older, you know, antique or vintage book pages. Okay, Edith Holden. Everybody kind of knows about Edith Holden if you've been making journals. They're beautiful illustrations and her beautiful penmanship. So, ooh, snake. She's got beautiful poems in there. So these are just fantastic. To put in your journals. Now, sometimes if you have a large journal, when you take your book apart, you know, you might not want to cut it. So these were bound with sewing bound, you can see. So you could sew right in there if you have a large journal, and then you can always fold the sides up so you can get the full thing. Now, if your journal is smaller, you can take a single sheet and you can fold it this way as well. Okay, so you still get the picture. Even though it's sideways, it's still fun. And I really like having a variety of sizes of papers in my journal. Okay, also botanical books are great, especially if you're making a botanical journal. So I have these. I got these from Amazon. If you want the links of some of this stuff, let me know, and I will find them. And now I found this on eBay, the Edith Holden papers. Okay, vintage or antique music papers are great for your journals. Doilies. Let me open this so you can see there's such a variety of doilies. Go beyond your basic white, and you can find all of these on Amazon. I wanted to show you all of these beautiful prints. And so it's really fun. Now, this is a white one here, but look at the beautiful design on that. So this brand right here is Talking Tables, and I got this on Amazon. And doilies for a delightful display. So there's so many things you can do with doilies. You can wrap them over a page. You can make a pocket out of them. You can just sew them in to write on. Lots and lots and lots. Okay, now also if you're not familiar with the Pepin brand papers, they call it gift and creative papers, but you will see these in my journals from time to time. They have many different, many in the different assortments. Here's a Claude Monet. So look how beautiful these are. And these simply just tear out. I think I have one torn. See, this tears. They just tear out and then they fold, and they really have a nice texture to write on. I've made pockets out of these. I've done a lot with these, and you can see I've got a bunch of scraps here and cut-offs. Something else I've done here. Is this an envelope I made? Hold on. Nope, I started to cover a manila folder. I was gonna make something here. So I'll have to revisit that. So something else you can do with these is you can actually make your own gift bags. And I'm going to show you real quick. So this is so simple to do. You just simply fold it over like this. And I'm saying to put them right in the journal. And then glue that down. Okay, take your pinking shears. Let's see. Or any fun scissors, or not, or just put notches. Do both sides like that. So this would be glued. Fold it up. You know, you can make it all different sizes because these are huge pieces. And then you would sew this right into a signature. So then you have, so it's more like an envelope, but you can make them big like a bag. And then you have that. So these are fun. So here's the Flora and Fauna one. These are just the ones I have. This is not in the right one. This goes in, well, maybe it did come in here. I'm not sure. Here's the flower prints. Look how pretty these are. Now, this has like a shiny texture here. So I've made these into bags. But let me show you how big these are. This is a half of one, just so you can see. Not even, I think it's a fourth of one. They're really, really large. They're in fours. So here, let me just, so this would pull right out, and then this, you see that? So these are beautiful, aren't they? So there's that. I love my 50s fashion. They also have another fashion one. So there's these. So, and then the marble paper, this is fun for end papers. Look at all these fun marble papers. All right, so I wanted to show you those, and that's called the Pepin Gift and Creative Papers. Okay, moving on to other things to put in your journal. Now, let me start with the bags. Okay, so these are antique style bags, and you would fold these into your journal. This one's larger. Now, if your journal is smaller than this big one, they also have a smaller size, the smaller size here. You could always still have it, fold it this way. So then you have a pocket, you have a bag. You would trim this side here, so you would have a bag there. Or what I've done before is I've simply made a pocket out of this side. So you would have this folded and there would be a pocket in here. So there's a variety of different things for bags. So those are, I got on Amazon, and I just put in antique style paper bags, flat paper bags. See, they're flat. When you go and you get your beverage bags, they put wine in these, they'll put vinegar, all your bottled stuff, you have to ask for them. You'll get a bag like this. These are fun. You can just fold them and put them in the journal, or you can trim the edge and flatten them out so you have, so let's say I just trim this edge here. Okay. Flatten it out like that, fold it, and you have this size, so then you have a flat bag. So those are fun. Okay, envelopes. This is a vellum envelope, and I coffee stained it. I know it's kind of noisy, but you don't have to coffee stain them, or you do. And these are fun just to sew right in. Now, if you do that, you're gonna have to cut down here. And usually what I do with these, if I'm going to sew them in, let me grab a pair of scissors here. I don't know where my good scissors are. Anyways, so I would just trim the middle like that, and then just see how this one's coming on an angle. I would just do a little angle on that. So, you know, I could do better than that, but an angle there and an angle there so that it can be opened, see? So there's that. Okay, flat, small bags. These are just plain white bags, and this one's been coffee stained, and here's a craft color one. Now, these are very small, so these are good for tea and journals and whatnot. See how small that is? But what I will do is I will actually put them like this, and then I have a pocket here. So I would glue here, glue there. Okay, then you could fold this and see, then you have two larger size bags, and they each are gonna have a little tuck spot on each side. Okay, so that's an idea for your smaller bags. Okay, sorry about that. It's my iPad going. Wax paper bags. These also do well coffee stained. So these are fun, and they come in the regular, you know, craft colored. These are, I guess, for sandwiches, sandwich bags. So these are fun in your journals for added storage room. Envelopes, sewing envelopes right in. There again, these are small envelopes. So what I've done in the past, well, these are two different sizes, but it doesn't matter. You could do that too, is glue this, glue this. You have a pocket, okay, sew it in right here. This can stay open, or you can make a pocket over it and cut on this side. So I have done some videos of how to do this and some of my things. Or you can just add it to a page and it can become a flip. So there's a lot of things to do with envelopes. I wanted to show you this envelope. This is an envelope I made. You can, this is just a coin envelope that I had left over from one of my sewing theme journals. You can just sew your envelope right in. Okay, so you don't have to, you know, leave it just leave it open like that and just sew it right into your journal. And then you have a flap and you can write on it, and it gives a little bit of, you know, a fun element in your journal. Okay, I'm thinking anything else. The ledger papers, old ledger papers. This is sketch paper. You can just, you know, I could rip this. This is a nice thin sketch paper, so that's good for those that like to make mixed media, you know, or art journals. Any papers you can find, you can at the thrift stores. Paper is endless. Just get a nice variety, guys, and hopefully you can make a fun journal full of different papers. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.